The combining the two at the end is when we're going to actually build a mission. So, like I said, we did the spawn, and we kind of went in depth with this, but I want to go a little bit more. We're going to go a lot more in depth with it. Oh, we're on virtual. We don't want to be on virtual. Virtual's a bad one to be on. It spawns if you've been in the VR barracks yet, that's what that spawns in there. So we're going to do U.S. Marine Corps. Again, want to wait for it to load before clicking anything. And we're going to click the spawn. I don't like building custom groups in here. Like I said, I find it easier to build in Zeus, and we'll go into that. It's all about finding which one you want to do. So we're going to select, we're going to spawn some infantry in, and we're going to fortify them. So we'll spawn some riflemen in, and we're going to put some on fortify. We're going to show that what to do is we're on zone 1, because we have it selected here. Oh, that's my bad. Apologize about that. Create instead of spawn in zone. We're going to spawn in zone. Important note, every time you click this, it's going to spawn one. So be very careful. As you can see, we have a bunch that got spawned up, and they're starting to move around. We're going to check on them in a bit, and then see where they've moved into their fortified positions when they've stopped moving. They're going to try and fortify anything that seems fortifiable in this. The problem with this becomes, if there's not a lot of fortifiable objects, they're all going to try and fortify the same thing. So that can cause some issues. Alright, so back to the spawn thing. We're going to show you BIS patrol. Alright. As you can see, the ones that come in as BIS patrol, they come in as, they have P instead of a G next to the name. This means they're on a patrol route, and we can see their move markers. This gets very... It takes a while to see where everything's going. As you can see, some things like overlap and everything like that, so it's just getting used to stuff. You can also set these custom patrol routes up yourself with a cycle, and we'll go into that. As long as it has this little thing here called cycle, it'll restart everything that person has just done. These people are still... Okay, so this person has fortified, so we're going to go take a look at them in the 3D editor, which I'll go into in a bit. So, as you can see, this house is open. So, this guy has decided he's going to fortify it. And he's going to be kind of looking out these windows in a little bit, and he's kind of looking the wrong way. But, alright, and we'll get back into this 3D editor that I got into a bit. Alright, so the spawn, again, it's pretty, your fortify, patrol, aggressive, defensive, like, are going to be main ones. I suggest staying away from BIS defense. I'm not a huge fan of it. This is more if you're going to create a mission and then go play with your troops and not be constantly doing things. If you don't want to micromanage, this is a really great thing to do. Alright, vehicles, you do not pretty much ever want to fortify. They don't understand the concept of fortifying in a building properly with vehicles sometimes, and you'll have a vehicle just hitting a building over and over again until it breaks, and it's just not cool. Instead, we want to put these on like BIS patrols, or we can put them on aggressive or defensive, and again, Gaia will respond to stuff that's happening in the zone. So Gaia is when they have the G here, that means that they're under control of the AI. And as you can see, the only building to fortify in this entire area is this little building. So all the guys that we put on fortify are going to go to that building, because they believe that is the most fortifiable position in this entire zone, and that's what they're going to fortify. Helicopters, you want to make sure when you place them, or planes, that you have a larger zone generally. Small zones, they end up doing really tight turns and stupid crap. For the most part, I wouldn't even put helicopters under Gaia. You can if you want to, but they can cause some issues. Alright, so that's pretty much units. They're pretty much all the same thing. Obviously, don't put naval boats on land. Only put them in the water, and don't spawn them in a zone where there is no water. Alright, so groups. A couple big things we have. So, you can spawn, some of these will have the big groups here like this. You can spawn them in as big groups if you want, it's not an issue. Then you'll have your class, you can spawn and stuff like that. So, on Assault Squad, Fire Support Squad, all that stuff. Or you can spawn them in with Zeus, and then we'll go into it. We'll go on that in a bit. Reinforcement. This is a cool one to use. These are going to create... This is going to spawn... You know, your like it basically says paradrop, drop off, fast rope, motorized. Paradrop, they're going to fly in and all jump out. If it's small, generally they're going to jump out of medium. They're going to jump out of helicopters. Large, they might fly in an aircraft. And they're all going to jump out and paradrop down. Drop off, the helicopter is going to attempt to land. Fast rope, the helicopter obviously isn't going to land. It's going to fast rope. And motorized, they're going to come in vehicle convoys. They're not random. All these convoys are the exact same. Everything that comes in is the exact same every time. It's important to note with drop-off small, you occasionally get gunships dropping off troops. So be very careful. It's random with the faction that does it. I believe it's generally most of the OP4 factions drop off with a gunship. So we're gonna show this. We're gonna do a drop off large airborne, why not? And we're gonna have, again, we can have them come into the zone as aggressive, defensive, or anything like that. And we're gonna spawn them in zone. And now you see it says left click on map to start slow direction. And I think it didn't actually. If you right click after you do it, it cancels it sometimes. So make sure you're at where you want to be at before just spawning. So we're gonna click spawn here. And it's going to take a little bit for it to pop up on our map. And sometimes it actually even won't pop up on MCC for... Oh, there we go. So, sometimes they're going to come in from farther out, sometimes they're going to come in from close in. And we're going to teleport over to these guys and watch them come in. So, this is what... we select drop off large or paradrop large, I can't remember. Pretty sure we did paradrop. No, we did drop off. Yeah, these guys are slowing down to do. So they're gonna land. If these guys come under fire, so it's really important to know, if you have a drop off and that chopper gets blown up, everybody inside it's dead. Your entire reinforcement wave just died. So it's fun things to do with the players. It's interesting, it's cool sometimes. This is a large size drop off. So as you can see, there's a decent amount of troops. They're gonna take a while to get out, and they're on aggressive behavior, so a lot of troops are coming out of these things. So it's really cool. Obviously, your guys are going to be able to see these things coming out pretty easily. They're going to see the helicopters coming in and landing. But it's a cool mechanic to use. Really, really cool mechanic. I love using the reinforcement mechanic instead of actually trying to set up a whole script really quickly to drop units off, because it automatically does the script for you. So anyways, getting back to our other branches here. Garrison, pretty much never use. This garrisons all the buildings in an area, and it has the potentiality to overexert the server FPS. So be very, very careful with it. You almost never want to use the heavy. Don't use this on any of the custom maps. It's pretty much only really good working with Altus and Stratus, and even then on Stratus, like, you need to select almost the entire... You need to have a really, really, really big zone. So we're not going to spawn it because I don't want to have the potentiality to crash the server right now while I'm doing other stuff. And then custom is just if you have anything custom created, which I don't. So this is if you create it. Again, if we go in here and we create that custom group, that's where this is going to be. So like I said, I build my groups in Zeus, so you can build them in here if you want though, and spawn them in that way. And we can see these troops are, there's not really anything for them to fight, so guys just kind of like, we're just going to have them stand around and stuff like that, so. Alright. We'll go back to this reinforcement really quickly. Motorized. They do not take a route you would imagine every single time is the correct route. So, try to spawn them on a direction that has a road coming in. If you spawn them, for example, as you can see, there's no roads to the northwest here. If you spawn them way up here, they're going to get on this road, and they're probably not going to drive across the mountain. They're going to drive all the way around through the roads. AI like the roads, so that's what they're going to use. Alright, we're going to put those in, though. Alright, Cass. We've gone over this kind of in depth already, so we're going to skip through that. Supply drop, we went over in depth. Apologize about the sound there. Artillery, we didn't really go over in depth, so we're going to show this. On target. You're going to select your number of shells up to 30, so how many rounds you want to fall. And then we're going to select the delay. This is a delay not only in the drop, but in between rounds. So, if you want 30 rounds to land 3 minutes apart, you select 3 minutes, and you're going to have, right now we're on mortars, you're going to have mortars drop, one mortar round drop every 3 minutes. So, that's really, really cool with flares, which we're actually going to show right now, like I like to do with flares. Some of you guys have noticed in some of my missions. I switched off USMC here, so let's switch back. Alright, and we'll show off wide and everything like that. So we'll do 5 flares, 20 seconds piece. Now we can do call or add. Call is if you want to drop them artillery right down right now. Again, you can see there, hold control for multiple calls. Or we can add it to that MCC console, which we'll go over at the very end pretty much. So we're going to call it, and we see this is wide. Pretty wide. It's immediately going to drop one down, and then 20 seconds later it's going to shoot another one, 20 seconds later it's going to shoot another one, 20 seconds later it's going to shoot another one. And it's pretty cool to do with flares, so that way, like, if you have, you want the AI to get flares if you don't have night vision, stuff like that on your On-4. Oh yeah, there's the other one spawning. So, flares don't last that long, so you generally want to have them on like 20 seconds. So I'll show you, we'll do mortars. On target, and we'll drop 2 rounds, 20 seconds apart. That's on target. That's as precise as you're going to get. Precise is larger than that, and then tight is larger than that, and then wide. Obviously, you can play around these when you're seeing, if you want to drop them. The really cool thing about this is it's going to be random within that zone. So, you know, it's if you drop it on players, it has potentiality. If I drop this right now, I have potentiality that that mortar is going to drop on me. So, it's a low chance, but there's a chance of it. Alright, the evac menu, we're going to go over. I haven't used this in a while. Vehicles you almost never want to do, neither with ships or anything like that. The helicopter is the only one you really want to use. That's the one with the most options. We don't want to spawn gunships ever, because they don't really. You don't want to spawn something that can't load people into it. The HH-80 obviously has room and stuff like that. So we're going to spawn the evac vehicle over here. We can see it's on the map. We can direct control it. And we can do a bunch of stuff with it too. So we're gonna give it a 1 waypoint. Actually, we'll do a 3 waypoint because 1 waypoint's easy. We're gonna have the flight height of it, and we want it to fly low. So we want it to fly at 50 meters. We want it to. Again, we have the things here we can do. We're doing an extraction, not an insertion. So we're going to free land hover off.